everybody. This is Woo Woo Wednesday with Devi Jade and Dr. Jane. And today we are talking about, I love this part because Jade has no idea what we're talking about. Today we're talking about spirit animals.
You're right. I don't have any idea that she was going to bring that up. Okay, good. I'm glad.
You love animals, Jade.
I do. That's just such an interesting area. It's about 15 shows on its own.
Yeah, well then let's make it 15 shows. We've just had some people ask, how can they know what their spirit animal is? And I know you and I have had some interaction about this as well, just on a personal note. So that's what our topic is. What do you think about it?
I say let's go for it, and please be aware, everybody, that this is going to be an ongoing conversation.
So this will be, how about a beginner's guide to spirit animals, part 1 of we don't know how many.
Right. Infinity,
all right.
Infinity and beyond, yes.
So how does somebody know, what actually is a spirit animal? Is it just an animal that you're drawn to? Is it an animal whose attributes you want to bring onto yourself or have around you as a reminder? What do you believe that the technical definition of a spirit animal is?
Okay, so first of all, it's not a technical, so I'm gonna say that because it's very organic. It is part of nature. And since we are all our relations, that's the way that I've been taught as a Native American medicine woman. And inevitably, if you go into that pantheon, eventually you will desire to have a spirit animal with you. It takes a lot of training. It just doesn't fly on your shoulder and sit there. They have it also in Druidry. They have it in other cultures as well, but typically you'll hear about it with the different kinds of native, even like in Australia, they'll have it's kind of shamanistic actually. A healer typically will not request a spirit animal. I know people want them and they just fly in and then this is what we're going to do because we're all used to watch Harry Potter, but that's not really what it is. It's what witches used to call a familiar. A cat was always a familiar, an animal that was predispositioned to assist her in her divinations and give her the energy, because cats are a representation of intuition, to assist her. Actually, scientifically, they know that their energy band is about 100 feet out. It's actually like 10. Dogs are like 10 times, horses are 10 times, and then cats are like 100 times more. And
what do you mean? Energy field?
Energy. They can feel energy 100 times more than us, and wild animals are like that as well. But even the domestic cat is still like that. That's why you'll see, I'm going in a tangent for a second. That's why you'll see domestic cats a lot of times they'll want to sit up like your antenna, because they're actually combing the area to see that everything is going okay.
Yeah, my cat is always on top of my car, or we have this beautiful brick wall, but it has these brick pillars, and he jumps up on top of this brick wall and just sits there, and it's kind of his area. I've also seen him catch a bird by jumping off the brick wall once. That was pretty amazing.
It's not a testing ground to see how many lives they can have left. They really are combing the area for the people that are with them. So, and anyway, going back to the whole beginning of it, when I received my power animals, I've been doing Native American, I've been going to Native American ceremonies for quite some time. And then I felt it was time to request that. And it's not something that I think that people should do very lightly. That's why I said, oh boy, here we go.
Well, you just called it a power animal. Is that different than spirit animal, or are those names synonymous?
Exactly the same. And
okay.
Most indigenous peoples have them. So you'll see the Eskimos have them. Again, a native tribe. You'll see over in Africa, they have their spirit animals or their power animals. It's power animal. It just means it's giving you, it's adding to what you have so that you can understand something deeper. So if you, let's go back to the cat, we'll just take the kitty cats. In Greece, you're never allowed to get rid of any, that's why cats are roaming everywhere, I guess. I haven't been to Greece, but I've heard that. And it's because the goddesses there are all relegated to the cat family. That's them. It's, and then with Hindus, it's cows. And in Celtic, it's something else. They have their deities have certain power animals or spirit animals. And I do druidry as well, which is really out of the box for people. That's is too. And so, but they have a typical, there's different animals that give different kinds of knowledge, and they will, you can access their knowledge, but you must be respectful to that. So that's why you hear, like when you go to India, the cows can roam around, or like when we went to Bali, the monkeys can roll around and stuff, and you're not to do anything, harm them.
Yeah.
And you have other people that have tigers, and then, you know, bears or seals, or they all have energy to them because they're inside, they have that spirit knowledge. That's why it's so important for us to be respectful to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So what if somebody has an animal, they've got dog, cat, whatever, and it's their pet and they have it in their home? How does having an animal like that impact your spiritual flow, your spiritual energy? I know that I feel, just from a psychological standpoint, animals, pets can help elongate your life. They lower your stress. They help, you know, with your energetic flow. They can know things that you don't know. When I lived in California years ago, I had a small dog who was probably 12, 14 pounds, but I'd never experienced an earthquake before. And I noticed one day that Abby was the name of my dog. She was just walking the perimeter of the apartment just over and over and over, just like combing the walls, which was very odd. She was not a neurotic animal. She thought she was a human. And then that evening there was an earthquake. There was another earthquake while I was still living there, and she did the exact same thing. So I knew it was coming. Like, how does that impact us, and how can we interact with the real animals in our life, not the spiritual animals? Spirit animals or power animals aren't real, but how can we interact with the flesh and bone animals in our environments in a way that can help us be more spiritually connected?
That's a good question. So let's go with dogs. First of all, again, I feel like I sort of answered that question. We all have our energy around us. Now, a lot of people that are in metaphysics and all that, which is what they used to call it, you don't even hear that word hardly anymore.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So anyway, we have our energy, so we're all sharing energy, right? Well, this animal that you bring into your life is going to assist you. Especially, this is where one of my heart things is, when I get an animal in my life, 99.9% of the time, I've always rescued an animal for my pet, because, and then I always let the animal choose me. I've literally, let's say if I did bring a puppy in, which has been a couple times, I wait till the puppies are playing, the blah, 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 and one literally will come down and sit by me. And then I know that animal chose me. It's very important for that to occur, instead of us thinking, okay, I want the fattest or this or that.
That one's cute.
Yeah, and the reason why that's very important, or the designer dogs, the reason that's important is because that's going to be your familiar. That's going to be your little tiny power animal. That animal knows what you need already before you even know you need it. So they become a better companion to you. They mind you better. And yes, I definitely love Caesar. He's great. He's a definite dog whisperer. I tell people, please get his books, because you do need to be the alpha, the energy. They'll read the energy, but at the same time, they can sense in the room, like you're saying, earthquakes or whatever is going on. They're sensing it a few hours ahead of time, several hours ahead of time, actually. They can feel it. Now, if you're a person that sits like I do for hours on end, feeling things, like, yes, I can feel like the energy of the earth sometimes. I can feel that. But that's few and far between, so don't go there. The dogs, look to your dogs, look to your cats, look to your parrots, things like that. They're there to assist us.
Yeah.
And not complete, and serve us. but we're to serve them too. So let's just go back. So I have a girlfriend. She said the other day that she knows that her husband's in the house all the time. Her little dogs will kind of know exactly where he's standing. He's on the other side. And she has a friend that came over and brought her little dog, and the dog just kind of went over here and just, started barking. And her friend said, "What's up with that?" And she said, "Oh, that's my husband." And apparently the dog hadn't seen the husband before come in and visit her. And this is her husband has passed. So her husband's always with her in the home. And that dog just like was glued. And when I go to clear houses, this has happened with me before. A lot of times I'll have people come to me and say, "My dog won't go into that room." And I'll check the room out, and I'll clear the house, and I'll clear the room, and then the dog will go in there. So they don't like things that are uncomfortable to them either. They're very aware of it. They can see it because they can see things that we don't allow ourselves to see. So yeah, as far as helping you, I pay attention to the cues of my animals. If obviously they give you, we know enough about dogs, let's say, that we know that when their ears go doop, I mean, they have their little antennas. My little schnauzer, he'd always sleep with one ear. I said, and then he'd go like this. I said, "Oh, his antenna's up." Like combing.
Yeah, you can actually tell. You can tell a lot about their communication by the way that they lie down when they're next to you, whether they're in that, I call it the doggy donut, or straight out, or have their legs underneath them. They're not actually in a full sleep. So yeah, that's interesting that your schnauzer would be like.
Way off the subject as far as like animals, because the original question is like, how do you know which yours? And so I'm gonna say to you that it's better to know who you are first before you start reaching out into an area that you really don't know what you're playing with. Okay, you don't want to take me into some famous chef's kitchen and think I'm going to put something together, because it's not going to happen. I'll be lucky if I can even cut the food right. I'm going to have to be with this person a long time and understand them, and they're going to have to understand me, and then they're going to take me little by little, and then they're going to test me. And if I don't, I have to go back here until I really learn how to cut. And it's going to take a long time. It's the same thing with anything you learn on a spiritual path. So
basically you're kind of saying, like, if somebody isn't really very far on their spiritual path and they're already thinking like, "Ooh, spirit animals, I want one of those. That sounds fun." It's kind of like they're trying to go from kindergarten to college like that.
They are. And I know there's all these classes that people are taking now. I just heard about another one the other day. Oh, be a reader in 10 easy steps. And then I'm going to teach you how to do the business. And I had to go to my client and I had to say, you have to think, is this really where you want to be? Or do you think this is where you're going to make money? And she said, "Well, that's about money." Then I said, "Then don't do it, because you're taking a huge responsibility on." And that's the same thing with shamanism. That's a whole nother thing all in itself, because you're dealing with energies that you have no idea what you're stepping into. It is like stepping in a well and you thought, "Oh, I could just walk across the well," and you fell in an abyss and you cannot get out. It's a very different area. That's why there's not a lot of shamans, or even the true shamans will not reveal themselves. They won't.
Because it's just too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot of energy. So let's stick with our little dogs and our little cats. And what about, I know that you can buy all these little like stones that say, "Oh, you're a bear," or "This is your totem."
Yeah. There's so much stuff out there. I mean, that you can there's so much spirit animal stuff out there. And then I think that there's even like some little kids show about it, or
yeah. And the thing is,
fictionalized.
We took it into, I'll give you this. What I say to people, what do you attract to the most? And people inevitably, we did this thing in a seminar years ago. Now, again, they don't call them seminars anymore, do they? So 3-day events. Okay, so we did this, and we had to become the animal that we felt that we were. Okay, so all of us took time, and then we had to act that animal out. The rest of us had to guess what it was. And that I think is okay, because then you're taking on the attributes of that animal, and you know that you have some sort of a connection with that animal. So let's just say it's, let's just say, for instance, like the show, The Black Panther. Okay, let's just say it's a panther. Well, then what? You read, what I would do is I would then research it on National Geographic or somewhere where we have some actual good history and good understanding of that animal.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I would go down and read everything, because it's not, it could be Black Panther, it could be Jaguar, it could be different.
And that energy would be totally different between those two cats because they're just different types of cats.
And so then you would learn about that, and then you would say, okay, then don't say, okay, I'm gonna ask the universe for that. Okay, don't do that. Just be with that and start taking care of it. Well, how would you do that? It's called, go to www.zoo.com, whichever one you love, or a sanctuary that they're taking care of them, and start supporting that particular animal so that you can be giving into that energy. And then you're going to find that little by little, those attributes will come to you. And then after a period of some time, maybe you'll have a dream about that animal. And you'll go, oh, because that's the first sign. But now I gave you guys a recipe. It's an important recipe. Because if you think, oh, I'm going to donate one time to that zoo, one time over here to a sanctuary, and then it's going to crash on.
So that sounds like, I mean, sounds like pretty much developing anything else. It's consistency, it's intention followed by consistency and follow up.
Yeah, but it's not this 3 easy steps to manifestation or 7-day challenge to I got my spirit animal.
Right.
None of that. It's over the course.
7-day challenge to I got my spirit animal. That's hilarious.
It's over the course of time, because they're not going to reveal themselves to you till you have respected that energy enough to where it then shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So spirit animals pretty much don't go there, but recognize energies that you'd like to embody and then draw yourself close to that.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that, and then they become what's called your walk besides. Okay, so walk beside is an animal, they're gifting you, they're quiet. So let's say it's a jaguar. It's a very quiet energy. It's very nighttime. It doesn't, I have some of that energy. So it's like, I don't want anybody raising my children. Thank you so much. Well, you had me, now I'm getting rid of you.
Yeah.
So then I'll raise my children on my own. That's a jaguar, and that's actually how I am. I could be very solitary and very, very quiet. They're very sensuous, okay? And it's like Catwoman. So that's always my acronym. I do Catwoman all the time. So when you do that energy and it becomes part of who you are, people will start recognizing that femininity, that feline energy in you. Yeah. Then do I support that energy? Actually, I do. And do I stop supporting that energy? No, I don't. It's once you come into contact, it's like you with your dog. You know, when a person really takes a puppy on, you're taking children on, just 4 feet, right? 4-footed.
Yeah.
You don't want to just discard it because it's peeing on the rug or it's thrown up or it's, you know, it's done a no-no. You work with that until the very last days, and then that dog comes and sits with you in your house because they still love you.
Very cool. All right. Well, that's Beginner's Guide to Spirit Animals and Animals in Your Home. So that's it for us today. If this was, you what?
That's all you guys get.
Yeah, that's what you get. We'll do part 2 of 8 million later. Make sure that you like and subscribe to this video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me start that over. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then hit that little bell so that you'll get notifications for all of our Woo Woo Wednesdays. So you will know when part 2 drops. And make sure that you check out the video description, because it has how to get a hold of Jade. It has how to get a hold of me. It has all sorts of freebies and goodies and information, and how to connect with the Woo Woo Chicks on Facebook. So make sure that you are checking that out as well, and leave any comments or questions here. And maybe one of them will be featured as a new topic the next time that we have Woo Woo Wednesday. We'll see you soon.
Everyone, I really wish you a blessed day, and really, you know, take care of your little animals that are with you, because remember, more than you know, they chose you. So keep that in mind.